Hello and welcome back. And in this lecture, we are going to see the practical example of open-close principle. So in this example, we will see that how the open-close principle has been violated and how we can fix it. So let me write the basic things about the open-close principles. So open-close principle says that the module should be open for extension but should be closed for modification, which means that if you have any new requirement and you have written any class, then in that case, if a new requirement comes, then you should be able to extend this class. You should be able to extend this module for the new requirement, but there should not be any modification in the existing code that has been written inside this class for any function. Right, inside this class there can be many functions and they should not be modified. They should not be forced to the developers to modify when a new requirement comes. So let me show you with the help of one example. There is an example where I have written a class which is known as writer application, and inside that writer application I have taken a character array, which is basically a string of 256 characters, and it will be taking the content which need to be written somewhere. And where it can be written, as of now, suppose your application is supporting either it can be written into the file or it can be written into some printer. It can be targeted for some printer or for the some file. So these are the two things which your application is supporting as of now. Your module, your class that you have written, it is supporting two types of targets, file and printer. So here I have written the constructor for this, and there is one destructor for this, the basic things inside a class that you need to write. And then I have written a function which will be actually doing the real work, which is writing the content to the file or to the printer, right? So here it is writing the content to the file or printer based on the target type, and the target type I have defined inside this enum, which is written as m underscore e target type. So there are two target types inside the enum I have defined. So based on these target types, it will write the content to the a specific location, either to the file or to the printer. So if your target type you are setting that it should be a file where it should be written, then in that case it will be taking this target type as a file and it will be writing the content to the file. And then if the target type is printer, then it will write the content to the printer, right? Else I can write one more statement here, cout. It can inform you in case you have not passed any of these enum types, the target types, then in that case this is not the right target type defined for this system. Okay, so this is how you can you have written your code. This is the normal way usually developer write this thing. I mean, whenever you are coming out of your college, whenever you are writing the code in your college days, or when you are a new developer, then mostly you might have seen these kind of things happening, right? But this is not a good programming practice. It is basically violating the open close principle, and because of this it will no more remain a maintainable class in the future. So what you need to do, and first of all let us understand that how it will work. So I have created a pointer here for this class object. I have created the object like writer app asterisk wapp is equal to new writer app, and I have passed this this content which need to be written to the file. So after that I have called the function write content, and I have passed the target type as the file. So I want to write this content into the file, right? So my client application is simply passing this thing, and here I have to change inside my class if I add any new target type, right? So client only has to write these two things. I mean, whatever way you will let the client know that how your classes and how your method should be used, it will start using it. But the thing is that if you have not created your class your module in a proper manner, which is not violating the open close principle, then in that case, it will create maintainability issues. Suppose some fine day your client comes and say that I need a new target type, which is target type which is DB, database. I want to store the things into the database now. Whatever contents are coming, I need to store into some database table. So what you will do, one change will be here, target type, which is the enum. The second change will be, and that change will be violating the open close principle, and that change is this thing. You will write an else if statement here, and you will add target type target type double equals target type db, and you will add this line here. You will write like this way. So what you are doing, you are touching the existing code, you are touching the existing module, existing piece of code, existing method, which was already there. And what our open close principle says, that you should be able to extend the functionality, but you should not be performing any such thing which modifies the existing things, right? The module should be open for extension, but should be closed for modification. But here your module has been modified. Your existing module has been modified. You have to write some piece of code which is modified, which is modifying your existing method which was written inside this class. So what is happening here? The thing which is happening here is the violation of this particular principle, which is known as the open close principle in under the solid OOPS principles. So now what is the solution for this? The solution for this is that you write this writer app, you make this class as a base class, and you write some function which is kind of virtual function, virtual void write content, and this writer app, it is anyways is going to pass this thing. So this content will be passed from the main application, the derived class, and then it will be it will be writing the content, it will be copying the content which need to be printed somewhere or which need to be written somewhere in this content content variable. And then under the different classes, like under the class which can be written for the printer, which can be written for the for the file, which can be written for the db, those things you can there you can define the basic operation, which is which basically you are creating your class which will be working as which will be behaving like a polymorphism, polymorphic behavior. It will be having a polymorphic behavior. So what you need to do, you need to write some class here, class write to file, and then you need to public writer app. And now you will be doing something like this. You are going to write something like this: virtual void write content. Okay, so here you don't have to pass anything like target type. It need to be removed. It simply needs to redefine in the derived classes. So here you can write like cout endl. You can perform the actual operation of writing the content, writing to file. And similarly you can write another class here, write to write to printer, and you can again create this class, inherit this class, and then you can again writing to writing to printer. Here you can write like writing to printer, and you can have your own logic here. I have not written the logic here. You can add the logic to actually sending the content to printer. So this will be working. And now this was like writer app, write content to the file, write content to the printer. All these things you can do. So you need to now do something like this. New, you can write like write to printer. If I want to write something to the printer, then I need to, write this thing, write to printer, and here I need to provide some content, or I don't need to provide because I'm just writing. For this time, I'm not going to, provide this content here. You can, whenever you write the actual code, you can write the logic to provide this content, whatever content you want to provide inside this writer app, right? Inside this content. So I'm just removing this. So I'm just removing this one as well, and I'm removing this thing as well. Right, so you can understand it like whatever you have to print, that content you can initialize from the derived class. From derived class you can pass the content to the base class constructor, and I hope you know that, right? If you don't know if you don't know that, let me know. I will write the code again for you, but I think that is a basic thing. I mean, that those basic things you should be aware of, so that you can write the code, right? So this is just an example, just this sample piece of code which is focusing on the open close principle violation and the solution, right? And nothing else. So here you can see that after writing, if after you call the right content, it will be able to call the right content based on the type of the object it has created, right? So now it will call this particular function of the write to printer class, because I have created in my client application, in my client function. This is the client, right? This is main function is the client, which is using this class, the object of this class, right? So now I'm going to run it, and if I will run it, it will print like writing to printer. Okay, so you can see writing to printer. You can see the output here. If I, write to file, in that case, what will happen? It will simply writing to file. It will print. Basically, it has become now, it is working as a polymorphism, right? So one thing in many forms. So writer app I have written as a base class, and that base class, it has been inherited for the file and for the printer, writing the content to the printer and for writing the content to the file. So this way we are able to, provide the required things to be done, right, by the application, right? So here, if some new requirement comes, you can also remove this one as well. So you can see that how much piece of code has been removed now. So you remove that, and now if some new requirement comes, and some your client says that I want something where I want to write something to the database. So what you need to do, you don't need to change anything, like whatever existingly written, this has been written existingly, this has been written existingly, this is existing code. This write to printer, this write to file is already existing. You don't need to change anything in them. You just need to do something, write to db, and then you will write like class, you will inherit class writer app, right? And now what you will do, you will simply again write this function here, and writing to here you can write public. So here you can do something like writing to db, and you can add the logic to actually sending the content to db database, right? So now if you run this, and if you create, I mean, if you have to test your application now, if you have to test your classes now, which class you will test? Anything which has been written new, that need to be tested. Existing thing doesn't need to be tested anymore. Your scope of testing for these two things is not there, but in earlier code there was a scope of testing of the same function for the other two things. Why? Because no one knows. Who knows? When you are doing the testing, you need to write the code for anything which has been modified, because who knows that you have tampered the existing code which was writing the content to the file and to the printer, right? But with this new code, you don't have to write the code for testing again the content which are, testing again those classes which were writing to the file and which were writing to the printer, right? Now you just have to test this class which is writing the content to the db. So now what you can do, if you have to test it, you just have to test this new class, right? You have to create the object for this new class, write to db, and you just call this function and test only the new module. You don't have to touch the existing module either for modification or for the testing. So this is how, when you solve the problem of open close principle violation, this is how your life becomes easier and your code becomes more maintainable. So now what I will do, write to DB, and then I will simply call this write content. And if you will see, I simply need to check this and it will simply call the write to DB, and writing to DB has been called. So this function has been called. So whatever written inside, only that need to be tested. Nothing existing need to be tested. So this is how the things work when you follow the open close principle, and this is how your life becomes easier when you follow the open close principle, and this is how your code becomes maintainable when you follow open close principle. So with this particular particular message, I would like to close this particular, I would like to I would like to conclude this particular video, and in the next video we'll meet soon with the code for the SOL list scope substitution principle. So we'll learn that in the next video. And till then, have a nice day and bye bye. And please subscribe my channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. Thank you and have a nice day.